of the year. And then it's nice that we're quickly going to be getting back to about the mid 60s. As far as any precip chances, relatively dry, slight chance for a little bit of snow as we work our way into the mountains, and that's going to be Saturday heading into Sunday. But I'm going to focus in on the good. Saturday, sunshine, 60 degrees. It doesn't get much better than that. And then 17 degrees also starting off on your Monday. As I mentioned, that is going to be the coldest of the year. The coldest we've been so far this season has been in the upper 20s. So it's really been crazy. So I'm going to take a step back and talk a little bit more about today, and then we'll get all the way through the progression. Our national days today, it's National Gingerbread House Day, by the way, 50 degrees. National Poinsettia Day, and then also National Salesperson Day. So say hello to your favorite salesperson. I want to show you these wind chills. I think the craziest things that happens this weekend is going to be going from a day like this that you're about to see on your screen, mid to the upper 50s, barely a wind chill, and just really award-winning overall for this time of year, and to this. This is our wind chills at 8 a.m. on Sunday. Already feeling like 10 degrees right around Boone, 36 degrees around the Charlotte area. Then, by the end of the afternoon, so around 6 p.m., we're starting to see the teens to the north, feeling like 21 degrees around the Charlotte area, and then around 10 below zero around the Boone area, seriously. And then our wind chills are either in the single digits to around 10 degrees by around midnight. By the way, the winds will start to die off, and they're going to gust as much as 30 miles per hour during the afternoon, and then we'll start to hit our lowest temperature, but actually our wind chill should be a little bit better by starting off the morning. So a 7-day forecast. One more time, we have that weather impact alert just because of how cold it is going to be, but at least we're rebounding back to the 60s before you know it. Actually warmer near Christmas compared to how we started off near December. It's up and down forecast. Yeah.
I will take it. All right, Chris, thanks so much. Join us for more on WCNC Plus starting at 7. See ya.
Well, good Friday morning, and thanks for joining us on WCNC Plus at 7. I'm Autumn Bracey, in for Vin Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off with a check of your forecast on this Friday. It's still chilly out there right now, but here's the thing. It's a roller coaster because it's going to get really chilly. Sunday night, Chris?
Yeah, Sunday night especially. So if you have any plans Sunday evening, because I know a lot of you are trying to cram in as many Christmas events as possible, Sunday evening is not great. Saturday evening, much better, because Saturday is my pick of the week. But first, let's start with the now. We have a 2-hour delay for our 3 mountainous counties, so that is Watauga, Avery, and Ashe County. And that could be extended, just depending, because we do actually have a little bit of snow that's now starting to work its way into the area. The rest of us all open as usual for any closures. Banner Elk, here it is, glistening roads. So we also have some black ice as a concern with temperatures in the 20s, but then that snow is starting to drift in. So here, I'm going to step off screen. First, high temperatures for the Charlotte area around 50 degrees, back above freezing 36 for you in Boone, and then 45 degrees around the Hickory area. So let's get to our satellite and radar. What you're looking at right there is those little pulses of blue that you see. That is now some light to even moderate snowfall that is now actively heading our way, and it is actually actively starting to accumulate a light dusting in parts of Ashe County. This all that you see over here around Johnson City, over in Bristol, that's going to be heading directly, especially for Watauga and Ashe County. So just like yesterday, we saw a 2-hour delay that went to a remote status. So kiddos, parents, maybe just keep an eye on that. There could be a change because maybe they'll see the additional snow and then I was like, forget about it, just stay home. And because some of that snow could be definitely on the heavier variety and it's still a little bit on the breezy side as well. As for the rest of the area, I could still actually draw an arrow down towards the southeast, right through here, and that's just north of Charlotte. This is going to continue to push its way in that general direction. It'll start to weaken, and once it hits the warmer temperatures, I think there's still a chance that maybe a little bit of a sleet changeover, or at least all rain. Should be still a lighter variety, but I wanted to let you know. And our futurecast is indeed proving that. Here's 8 o'clock, an hour from now, showing that that little bunch of snow that I saw around Bristol will entirely be over the mountains. By 9 o'clock, you're starting to see that rain snow line starting to sneak into parts of Caldwell County, even Alexander County, around Taylorsville. So areas north of I-40, I think your window between 8 and 10 o'clock would be the best chance to maybe see a little bit of sleet. And then by the end of the morning, we're starting to erode the clouds and any precip chances are out of there. So right now we're at 39 degrees in Charlotte, 37 degrees around Rockingham. What's interesting about this map right now, the high temperature I have on Monday is below where we're at right now in Charlotte. That's right. It's only a high of 38 degrees. You also notice the change I have from this time yesterday when you joined us on WCNC Plus. We are weather impact alert, and this is because the superlative, not just the coldest of the season, coldest of the year. The coldest that Charlotte Douglas has registered so far in 2025 is 18. We're starting off at 17. Luckily, this cool down is going to be very brief. We're back to the 60s before you know it, but Saturday by far is the pick of the week and pick of the weekend. Coming up, I got to let you know the changes, how quickly we change hour by hour for your Sunday about how we feel. So I'll have that and more for a full detailed weekend forecast here shortly. But first, we don't have Majestic. She is off. Destiny Richards is joining us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. I have to say, it is nice to be inside. I can't be inside on Monday, unfortunately. I-77 at I-85 right now, exit 13B. A little bit of a slowdown here if you're trying to get onto I-77, or excuse me, onto I-85 from I-77. Just a little bit of an impact there, a medium impact. We're also seeing congestion on southbound I-77 leaving Uptown or passing by Uptown, and then Gastonia, I-85 northbound. We do have a crash there that is causing this issue. Right now we're seeing the left lane blocked on I-85 northbound at Main Street, and the backup was to New Hope Road here, exit 20. It's grown beyond that now. It is definitely all the way backed up to Gastonia, and then in the Gastonia area, or in the city, we see Franklin Boulevard at US 321, just a little bit of an impact at the intersection there, but nothing major. You really need to know though about that incident on I-85 northbound. That's going to cause a lot of issues.
Thank you, Destiny. It's been 1 week since the latest stabbing on the light rail, and this morning there is mounting criticism from federal officials.
It comes as the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office announced the suspect in that stabbing is now facing 2 federal charges. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live in NOTA this morning at the rail station where that stabbing happened. He's detailing the officials' call for safety. Richard.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lisa. Good morning, Autumn. Good Friday morning, everyone. Basically, federal officials are saying the incident that happened at this light rail station that you see right behind me say that while there have been safeguards and things like that put into place by leadership here in Charlotte, they say it's not enough. Now, as we look at video, this is just part of what they talked about when they held a news conference yesterday describing that incident that happened on the light rail just last week, pointing directly to 2 violent stabbings on Cat's Light Rail in less than 4 months. They say the FBI should say, and the U.S. Attorney's Office announced new federal charges for that suspect accused in last week's attack. 33-year-old Oscar Solozano Garcia is now facing 2 federal charges, including violence on a mass transportation system, accused of stabbing a passenger on board the light rail train here in NOTA. He now faces the same federal charges as the Carlos Brown. Now, that's the man accused of killing passenger Irina Zaruska in August. Brown made his first federal appearance yesterday in a federal court. Federal officials released surveillance images showing Solozano Garcia holding a knife before they say he stabbed the victim, and that Garcia appeared intoxicated and was causing problems on the train before that confrontation. Authorities also confirmed Solo Garza was from Honduras and has been deported, I should say, twice. He's now accused of illegally re-entering the U.S.
We're still working with our partners at ICE, and we're trying to fill in the gaps from the timeline of when he came back, where he came into the United States, where he lived in the United States, but we believe he recently came to Charlotte.
Whatever we're doing now is not working. We've had 2 stabbings, 1 fatal, and that's in addition to a bunch of other more minor crimes, relatively minor crimes that happen on the light rail every day.
And also, the U.S. Attorney for the North Carolina Western District says that if there were security on board that light rail, they could have stopped that confrontation from escalating to the point where Garcia is accused of stabbing that victim. If he's convicted, he could either be deported or he could face life behind bars. As for Carlos Brown, if he's convicted of stabbing Irina Zaruska, he could be put to death. We're right here in NOTA. Richard Devane. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Richard. And just hours later, Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden responding to that announcement from federal leaders. He sent us a very lengthy statement. It says in part, quote, "If deporting Solozano twice did not work, then blame for this broken system belongs where it should with DHS, ICE, and their continued reliance on a process that has repeatedly failed," end quote.
7:08 now. This morning, the man stabbed on the light rail last week remains in jail with a $2 million bond. Kenny Adobe is facing several domestic violence-related charges, including assault on a pregnant woman. He was reportedly dating that woman. Adobe made his first court appearance yesterday. Court officials say he hit the woman, knocking her unconscious. Advocates say this case highlights a much bigger concern.
A $2 million bond on domestic violence is very rare. And I think this happened because of the notoriety of the person, because of its connection to another public incident.
Adobe is also facing charges for threatening to kill the woman and her children. His next court appearance is scheduled for December 23rd.
As of this morning, a GoFundMe page for Adobe's medical bills remains active. So far, more than $115,000 has been donated by more than 2,000 people.
And now that he's facing his own assault charges, some are wondering if that money can be used for bail or if people can get their money back if they like. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies.
We went straight to GoFundMe for answers to the top questions people may have when it comes to this. First, what are the requirements to receive the money from a fundraiser? The person receiving funds must be over 18 years of age, have a government-issued photo ID, and have a bank account. Dobie created his fundraiser himself and says money will go towards his, quote, trauma and pain after being stabbed on the Blue Line. During Dobie's court appearance today for his own assault charges, his GoFundMe was the reason prosecutors asked for either a high bond or no bond at all. However, the defense argued that money is intended for medical expenses. According to GoFundMe, using the money for a different reason than what the fundraiser was set up for violates their terms of service. So Dobie can't use it for bond. If he did, it could result in the removal of the campaign, possible civil or criminal consequences, being banned from the platform, and or refunds to donors. If anyone ever has a concern with the fundraiser, they can make a request that it be looked at, and GoFundMe's trust and safety team will review it. If a donor would like to request a refund, there is a form they can fill out on GoFundMe.
That was Megan Bragg reporting. If you have something that you would like verified, it's very easy. Email us at verify@wcnc.com.
Well, overnight, some new information from the Stanley County Sheriff's Office reveals the now former co-owner of Sycamore Brewing, Justin Brigham, was found naked near the home of the 13-year-old girl he's accused of raping.
Deputies say they received a 911 call from the girl's parents in Stanfield saying they found a man they didn't know in their daughter's bedroom. When deputies arrived, they say they found a man who was later identified as Brigham completely undressed in a nearby vehicle. They arrested him immediately. He is charged with first-degree burglary, statutory rape of a child by an adult, and indecent liberties with a child. He is in jail with a $10 million bond.
Not long after this news broke, his wife and Sycamore's co-owner posted on Instagram saying, "To our employees, customers, and partners, I'm devastated by the charges against Justin and the pain this has inflicted on our family and others. Effective immediately, I am assuming full leadership of the company. Justin is divesting all of his interests and will have no further involvement." As we speak, detectives are still actively investigating a death on Charlotte's west side. Police say the person was found on Sanders Avenue near Beatty's Ford Road. We know that a car at the scene matches the description of Freja Baker's car. Baker is a Charlotte mother who's been missing since last week. Right now, police have not confirmed if that victim is Freja Baker. Neighbors who told us they believe it was her say they were shocked by this discovery.
It's the most horrific thing you could hear, as just being in the community. Not even, I'm sure the family is going, emotional in this sense, because to hear that your family member has been found in a car, that's truly sad.
Police say the victim was pronounced dead at the scene and the cause of death is still undetermined at this time. The country is speeding toward higher health care costs, and the Senate just rejected two key bills. What that could mean for millions of Americans relying on the Affordable Care Act, coming up next.
Time is now 7:15. With the country speeding toward higher health care, the Senate rejected 2 health care bills on Thursday, all but assuring that insurance premiums will double or more for millions of Americans on the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. The House is expected to bring up its own bill next week. NBC's Alice Barr reports how White House leaders are responding.
With a 1-2 punch of failed votes from each party.
The motion is not agreed to.
The Senate knocking out hopes of offering a health care fix before Obamacare subsidies expire at the end of the month, sending insurance premiums soaring for some 22 million Americans. Overnight, President Trump, who refused to negotiate when Democrats pushed to extend the subsidies during the government shutdown, now calling for a bipartisan solution.
I really believe we can work on health care together and come up with something that's going to be much better, much less expensive for the people.
The Senate's top Democrat arguing Republicans who have long opposed Obamacare have failed to find a viable alternative.
They put a little bubble gum and Scotch tape together and put together a ridiculous, phony plan.
Republicans say the Obamacare system itself has forced health care costs up. Instead, they want to put money directly in Americans' health savings accounts.
They can use it, pay for premiums, whatever, and then make sure we cover pre-existing condition.
For now, with both plans failing on the Senate floor, Obamacare recipients like cancer survivor Rebecca Davis are about to take a hit. Her premium set to double in the new year.
There's a lot of stress that comes with receiving that bill in the mail.
Speaker Mike Johnson promising a vote in the House next week.
That will bring down the cost of health care for all Americans, not just 7% of them.
It's not clear what that plan would be, with time running out for Americans in need. Remember, extending Obamacare subsidies was the central sticking point for Democrats that kept the government in that record-setting shutdown. Democrats now want to hold the issue over Republicans in next year's midterms, and some swing district House Republicans want to force a vote on extending the money, worried spiking costs could cost them their seats. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, the Trump administration is expanding its crackdown on diversity, equity, and inclusion by ordering national parks to purge their gifts of items it deems objectionable. The Interior Department says the goal is to create neutral spaces that serve all visitors. Critics argue the move amounts to censorship, while supporters say taxpayer-funded spaces shouldn't promote divisive ideologies. Park employees say they're unsure what merchandise will be banned, leaving the order open to interpretation. Well, President Trump taking some new steps to standardize federal guidelines for artificial intelligence. The president signing an executive order yesterday in the Oval Office.
The order seeks to limit the ability of states to regulate AI, avoiding the possibility of 50 different rules across the country. While signing the order, the president took questions about ongoing military strikes on alleged drug boats and the U.S. seizing a Venezuelan oil tanker.
If you look at the drug traffic by sea is down 92%. And nobody can figure out who the 8% is, because I have no idea. Anybody getting involved in that right now is not doing well. And we'll start that on land, too. It's going to be starting on land pretty soon.
Lawmakers also declined to add an AI moratorium to the National Defense Authorization Act. Rivers rising fast in Washington state, and forecasters warn the danger could turn deadly. With levees under pressure and more storms on the way, will the flood defenses hold? Forecasters warn historic floods in Washington state could be deadly if people don't stick to the evacuation orders. They say the rivers continue to rise, flooding homes and businesses. In fact, some of the hardest hit areas are north of Seattle.
Officials say if levees fail, the property damage could be immense. In other places across the state, more communities are grappling with high water. Leaders hope various flood control efforts can keep up and work to keep people safe.
And Chris, I know you've been talking about this. The atmospheric river is what's leading to all of this.
Yeah, another name that you maybe know or have heard of, the Pineapple Express, is actually another term for this as well. It's the tropical moisture that originates right here, closer to the equator over in the Pacific, and that allows a big surge, usually into California, but once per year, you usually have it in Washington state. But it's just so constant right now. It's just riding up over the mountains, condensing constant rain, and we've seen that for several days. And flooding events, they compound. Like when Helene happened, it was the days before that made Helene so bad. If it's just one big burst of rain, it could be a terrible situation, but if you already have rain before that, that's where you really have some problems. And here's the atmospheric river. You can see that big transport. It's now blasting in a lot more moisture. Not as much rain as we saw at this point yesterday, but we've heard the term levees before. Sometimes the worst situations, like with Katrina, isn't the actual flood. It's if the man-made things that control floods like levees break. So thoughts and prayers, and really hope that that is not going to be the case in scenario. This is a historic event by far. Something that's not historic is a chance for snow this time of year up in the high country. We've had multiple rounds. We had one last night, so just a dusting for some of them. It's mainly north of this line. So Charlotte, I think you're going to avoid this. Also some drier air in place. This is going to keep those snow chances around, especially for Watauga and Ashe County over the next few hours. That's one of the main reasons why you're under that delay for the time being. This will push its way down towards the south and east. A slight chance for another dusting and flurries Saturday night to Sunday for the mountains as well. The weekend is all over the place, though. Check this out. 60 degrees. That's the pick of the weekend, pick of the week, with sunshine and 60 degrees. But your Sunday, we hit the high temperature right around midnight. We should be close to 50 degrees, and we'll hit our low by the following midnight, heading into Monday. So here's what your Sunday looks like. We're starting off in the 40s, feeling like the 40s and 30s. For the afternoon, we move from the mid 40s to around freezing, feeling like 40 to 20 degrees. If you have any evening outdoor plans, you gotta plan accordingly, because temperatures are below freezing with wind chills as cold as 10 to 20 degrees, even below zero up in the high country. So take care. Get ready for the coldest area of the season also Monday morning. All right, let's get right over to Destiny. Things improving, it seems.
Yes, we do have some incidents that have cleared this morning, but it's still a slow clearing, and one of those is on I-85 northbound. We're still seeing congestion there over east of or west of the Charlotte area, so if you're headed inbound, just prepare still for those backups to linger. So going in here, we see I-85 northbound, those left lanes that were closed have now reopened, but the backup still extends well into Gastonia this morning. We also have a cleared crash here, University Boulevard at I-45 outer loop. There was a left turn lane that was blocked. This is still active though, Albemarle Road West at Arlington Church Road.
All right, we only have a few days left in our magical toy drive. We want to shout out all the wonderful people that have donated to the drive so far. Now, there is still some time if you want to show your support. All you have to do is bring any new unwrapped toy to any Charlotte area Belk location between now and Sunday. For some more ways you can donate, you can scan the QR code on your screen. We're going to take a quick break as we look at beautiful Charlotte. Stay here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everybody. We have some snow moving back in for the North Carolina mountains, but it's anyone north of this line will have a chance for maybe a little change over to some sleet and some rain over the next couple of hours. Then other than that, we'll get rid of the clouds. For your December 12th, high temperatures right around 50 degrees. We'll see more sunshine to end the day compared to the cloudy start that we have, and then temperatures tumbling down to that freezing point to kick off your Saturday. Saturday, by the way, that's the day. That's the pick of the weekend. Sunday, all over the place because we have a cold front. When that moves through, we are going to see temperatures descend throughout the day. Check it out. This is Sunday morning at 8 o'clock with the real feel anywhere from freezing up to about 40 degrees. By the afternoon to the end of the afternoon, heading into the evening, we're going to have the wind chills either side of 20 degrees, even as cold as the single digits to 10 degrees by the end of your Sunday evening. So dress warm. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has this weather impact alert for the coldest morning of the year. That's right, 70 degrees kick off your Monday. Luckily, we warm up nicely either side of 60 the middle of next week. Real quick, traffic update with Destiny Richards. What's going on?
Well, this morning we are seeing just a few incidents clear up, but still a lot of congestion just across the map. Join us on WCNC Plus.
On this Friday morning. Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Autumn Bracey in for Ben Thompson.
Chief Estella Patterson has been at the helm of CMPD for less than 2 weeks now, and she is already setting her priorities straight. She sat down with WCNC Charlotte's Colin Mayfield to talk about the action items that she is teeing up during her first tenure.
I know that the trust of the public is super important, and we always want to maintain that trust.
Chief Estella Patterson has more than 25 years of law enforcement experience. She spent more than 2 decades with CMPD before becoming Raleigh's police chief. Now she's back and making sure her presence is felt.
I want our officers to be visible out front and people see that. So, of course, we're doing our special operation that we're doing around the Christmas season, and that's going to continue. We already have some operations that we do with our Crown initiative in the Uptown area, as well as our Entertainment District unit.
Chief Patterson says she's been decidedly proactive, creating things like the Christmas Task Force. She wants to enlarge many of these units that are tracking violent criminals and taking them off our streets, giving more resources to places like the Crime Reduction Unit.
And as we staff up our department, we'll continue to do that and enlarge those units, because it is very important to me that members of the community see our officers and that they see them out and about.
Understanding the grueling nature of police work, Patterson went on to explain that both the physical and mental well-being of her department is of the utmost importance.
It is important to me that our employees are heard and that they're seen and that they know that I will be out there with them doing whatever it is. I've always been the kind of leader who leads from the front. To introduce more technology, want to be able to work smarter, and bringing in technology that enables to have more eyes and ears to mitigate crime.
I asked Chief Patterson about the recent immigration operations and CMPD's role in this when it comes to criticism of local law enforcement. She says it's pretty simple.
For us, we don't enforce immigration laws. That is not our duty. That is not our mission. And we want our residents to know that live in this community.
Chief Patterson told me they would collaborate with federal partners and already have, taking violent criminals off the streets if and when they ask. She says that CMPD will continue to work closely with those federal partners, which is part of her commitment to keeping the city and its residents safe.
I'm committed to making sure that our officers are doing the work that we have signed up to do and that we hold them accountable. I know oftentimes people feel that the police do things that are questionable. Well, I'm the kind of chief that I'm going to hold my employees accountable.
That was Colin Mayfield reporting. Now, if you'd like to watch that entire interview with Chief Patterson, we have it right here on WCNC+. DeCarlos Brown, the man accused of killing Irina Zarutska on the light rail in August, made his first court appearance in federal court. He is charged with committing an act of violence on a mass transportation system, resulting in death.
Since we announced those charges here, Mr. Barnacle and I have met in person with Irina Zarutska's family. They are heartbroken. Our hearts go out to them. We think about them every day. We are committed to justice for her and for her family. And my team and I will not stop until we get justice for her and her family.
U.S. Attorney Russ Ferguson says Brown is now in federal custody.
A Lancaster man is in police custody this morning after leading officers on a chase. Lancaster police tell us 42-year-old Bobby Bollock was driving a vehicle that had been reported as stolen. When police went to stop him yesterday, Bollock ran from the car into woods nearby. Once a deputy caught up with that suspect, there was some sort of struggle. That's when Bollock grabbed the deputy's gun. The deputy then fired a shot at the suspect, injuring him. Bollock was not seriously injured but was taken to a hospital to be treated. He will soon be transported to the Lancaster County Detention Center where charges are expected to be filed. At 7:34 this morning, we're learning the family of a 16-year-old student who died in a stabbing at a Winston-Salem high school earlier this week is seeking legal action. All of this comes after the district attorney announced it would not file charges in the incident. The DA says it's in part because there's an element of self-defense by the older student involved in the fight. Investigators say Tuesday, 16-year-old Cameron Graham and his 18-year-old friend fought over THC vape pen. Graham ended up pulling out a knife. During the struggle, he was stabbed in the chest. The Forsyth County District Attorney says the two students were friends and there is no reason to believe Graham's death was intentional.
The 18-year-old was interviewed by law enforcement while he was recovering from his own injuries. And I can tell you, he cried and cried when he learned that his friend was dead.
Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools says after this incident, metal detectors are now going to be active daily in all of their schools in the district.
14 months after the legal fight began, NASCAR, Michael Jordan's 23XI Racing, and Front Row Motorsports have officially reached a settlement. The case centered on charter negotiations, with the teams accusing NASCAR of operating as a monopoly. Associated Press reporter Jenna Fryer, who's covered this trial from the start, joined us here on WCNC Plus to discuss what this settlement means for the sport moving forward.
We don't know yet the other terms that were agreed to in the settlement, but I believe that they're going to, that all teams, that even the ones who didn't sue, are going to receive a larger revenue stream, piece of the revenue stream, and they're going to work together to build a healthier, stronger sport. And Michael Jordan said from the very beginning that he wasn't doing this for just 23XI and Front Row Motorsports. He was doing this for all the teams, and ultimately what he achieved is going to be a victory for the 36 chartered teams in NASCAR.
A Salisbury man remains in jail this morning accused of threatening President Trump. U.S. Attorney Dan Bishop says the FBI arrested Christian Daniels Thursday. He says Daniels made threats online against the president last month. If convicted on all counts, Daniels faces a maximum of 15 years in prison. He will be back in court next week.
Attorney General Jeff Jackson says North Carolina has won a $200 million lawsuit against FEMA. It comes after a federal court ordered the agency to reinstate the brick disaster mitigation program. Jackson releasing a statement saying in part, this ruling puts the money back where it was promised so these communities can be ready for the next storm. Jackson had sued in July after FEMA abruptly canceled the program earlier this year.
All right, let's roll on. It is going to be an interesting weekend. But first, let's talk about our random weather stat. It's been a cold start to the month, not the coldest, but definitely standing out from all the rest. Through 11 days of December, this is the 21st coldest first 11 that we've had in Charlotte history, averaging 40 degrees for our highs and lows, and our highs have been astronomically below where they should be. It's certainly a lot more below average days than the above average ones, but we will be back above the norm by tomorrow. Our WCNC tower camera keeping some clouds around for the morning. There's a slight chance for a little precipitation and mainly along the I-40 corridor. That is later on this morning, and then once you get to the afternoon, we'll clear out all these clouds. Highs right around 50 degrees. Not as great of a day as yesterday. Yesterday was pretty much wall-to-wall sunshine. We're going to have that again just in time for your Saturday, because check out our weekend forecast. It receives the gold medal as for the pick of the week and also pick of the weekend, obviously. Lots of sunshine. There's the slightest chance for a little bit of snow overnight in the mountains, not for the Charlotte area. Still kept a 20% chance for the overnight hours, but I think most likely we're staying dry. But then this big arrow really shows how your Sunday is going to be. So I want to show you specifically. I made a graphic. There's a lot of numbers that are about to pop up on here, but it's really going to tell the tale of what your Sunday is going to look like. So first and foremost, your Sunday is starting off in the 40s. And once you get to midnight, so Saturday heading into Sunday, the first minute, that is going to be your warmest temperature for the day. I think likely we're going to be around 50 degrees at that point. And then by the end of the evening, heading into the midnight going into Monday, likely temperatures dropping down to around 20 degrees. So we start off right around sunrise at 6 a.m. about the mid 40s, where it could still have a wind chill as cold as about 36. For the afternoon from noon to 6, we start off in the mid 40s, but we'll end the day below freezing. Now, if you factor in wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, we could have wind chills ranging anywhere from 40 to 20 degrees. By the evening, those wind chills could be even colder, around 10 degrees once we get closer to midnight, and our actual temperatures right around that freezing point to 20 degrees. And we will continue to cool down. I'm talking about a low of 17 to kick off your Monday. The warmest that we've been so far this year, 18 degrees. So welcome to the coldest air of 2025, just in time for us to almost move over the calendar to 2026. Coming up, I'll have that extended 10-10-10 forecast showing you where we're going and when we have some warmer hope on the horizon. But first, let's see what's going on in the traffic world with Destiny Richards.
Yeah, we definitely had a busy 7 o'clock hour, lots of incidents popping up, but some clearing as well, so that's good news. We do have a disabled vehicle on eastbound Billy Graham Parkway at South Tryon Street. This is affecting traffic in all directions, so just a heads up, if you're headed this way, it's going to stall traffic, on Tryon Street in both directions. So just a heads up there, definitely a busy road this time of the morning. We also have one crash left in the Gastonia area, Franklin Boulevard at US 321, starting to cause some backups there. But this accident has cleared. This was at I-85 northbound at Main Street. It's cleared, but the backups are still there. It's starting to get better, but it's not the best right now still. I believe the crash has moved to the shoulder right now. This is still an active crash from earlier this morning. This is out east of Charlotte, Albemarle Road West at Arlington Church Road. And then we also have a new accident, Idlewild Road at East Independence Boulevard. Not a huge impact from this one, but still on the map and still something to watch out for if you're in that area.
This month amongst HIV and AIDS Awareness Month, a time to shine a light on education and testing. Hear how one local group says its fight for solutions is far from over.
This December marks HIV and AIDS Awareness Month, which is a time to highlight education and promote testing for the disease.
WCNC Charlotte's Bria Smith spoke to one local organization about its successful efforts as well as challenges when it comes to generating solutions.
The local organization RAIN works year-round towards a healthier life for those living with HIV or AIDS.
We have the technology, we have the medicine, we have things like RAIN.
RAIN has served the Charlotte community for the past 33 years, working to create a more promising future for those living with HIV and AIDS.
We have all of the tools that we need to keep someone healthy and to keep them having the same lifespan as somebody who doesn't have HIV. We also have the tools to prevent HIV. We have everything that we need to essentially stop the virus from spreading anymore. We just need to make sure that people can access it.
But despite success in some areas, RAIN CEO Chelsea Golden explains the challenges nonprofits like RAIN come up against when federal funding is on the line.
The big, beautiful bill that was passed by the federal government not only dismantles the CDC and moves it to a new branch of government, which would completely disrupt all HIV domestic testing, but it also reduces or eliminates what we know as Ryan White Minority AIDS Initiative.
Golden also tells me she's noticing higher rates of diagnosis within the Latin community.
And I think that is tied to fear for getting tested, fear of accessing services. Certainly with the recent events, we are trying to shift some of our services and make sure that we are adjusting to how the client feels safe.
It's challenges like these why Golden's team members like Briante Boyd do what they can to make a difference.
We just literally would say, hey, well, we're here for you. Start with that. Come in, maybe, get to know them, get to know those people, see what they actually do and don't need as far as maybe mental health, counseling, transportation, food, things of that nature, beyond just adhering to their care.
To help RAIN continue providing resources for those living with HIV or AIDS through donations, visit our WCNC mobile app. In Charlotte, Bria Smith, WCNC Charlotte.
U.S. health officials are bracing for what's expected to be a rough respiratory virus season, fueled by holiday travel and a new flu variant. Last year, at least 1 million people were hospitalized and more than 70,000 died from respiratory virus illnesses. Those over the age of 65 are especially at risk for getting severely sick. Dr. David Hill with the American Lung Association recommends getting vaccinated to avoid hospitalization or even death.
The flu and COVID tend to lead to higher hospitalization rates and higher deaths in that population. So getting vaccinated is really important for that group of people. Talk to your provider, try to get vaccinated. It's the best way to protect yourself and your loved ones.
The CDC also recommends that all people use everyday prevention strategies to help reduce the risk of getting sick. That includes washing your hands and regularly cleaning commonly touched surfaces. Also, if you get sick, help stop the spread by staying home and away from others. Changes could be coming to the sunscreen products we use. The FDA is proposing the addition of a chemical that's already common in both Europe and Australia. It helps to block both UVA and UVB rays. Officials say that they will review the safety data and take public comments before making a final decision. Skin cancer remains the most common cancer in the U.S., with millions of people treated every year. Most people won't catch the northern lights this holiday season, but something just as dazzling is about to light up the night sky. We'll show you.
Welcome back in. Most people don't get to see the Northern Lights for the holidays, but a display that could be just as dazzling hits this weekend. What will probably be the best meteor shower of the year peaks on Saturday night. The Geminians are well known for their bright and frequent fireballs. In fact, you could see up to 120 of them each hour. The best time to view the show is between midnight and dawn. And the best way to view the meteors to find somewhere away from city lights and give your eyes about 30 minutes to adjust. All right, Chris, you have any plans to view it?
It depends on how chilly I want to get, but I actually saw this display last year. I had a destination wedding I had to go to, and it was one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen. So especially in the mountains, it's going to be much colder there. It should be an awesome display. We'll have some clouds, but I think it's going to be pretty decent. The step one of this is you got to look towards Gemini. Now, it might be tough to find Gemini right away, but what you got to do is look for what is a little bit easier to see is Orion's belt, those 3 stars. It's going to be just south here. The direction to look is off towards the east. But the good news here is that the Geminids radiate all across the sky. And the reason why meteor showers are named what they're named is wherever the meteor shower is radiating from. So as we mentioned, the peak is going to be heading into Sunday morning. So truly it's 2 a.m. on Sunday, but you could see them as early as actually tonight. And I think it's really going to be starting off in the evening that you might have some wishes to make. And the stat that Autumn just said isn't incorrect, that we could see up to 120. That's the peak in general across the world. Meanwhile, for us here in Charlotte, it's more likely to see 30 to 60. And that's more so if you get away from the city lights and the mountains, a little bit close to that 60 mark. And you have to be away from light pollution. There are darker spots. Let your eyes adjust is definitely going to be the keys here. This one is usually the most breathtaking one that we have because they last a little bit longer and are also known to be some of the brighter meteors that happen of any other meteor shower. Number 2, in my opinion, and NASA also agrees with this, is the Perseid meteor shower that happens around August 12th to the 13th each and every year. Now, for our forecast, it is going to be chilly depending where you are. We're expecting our lows to drop down to the 40s on Sunday morning, but the good news is actually that's one of the warmer mornings that we have going forward before we have one of the colder ones. So I'm glad that the peak is not on Sunday heading into Monday because we're going to be down to 17 degrees. That is frightening. And we get back above freezing starting on next Thursday, and we're going to stay there for several days because check it out. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas for our 10-day forecast. We hit our bottom on Monday, so that's where we have our coldest high and our coldest low. We're back to 63 degrees on Thursday. That's a week before Christmas. The first day of winter, the next Sunday, 64 degrees. So now we have 3 days that are 60 plus across the board. Great news there. We just have to pay the one price of a very cold Monday, which, by the way, I mentioned this earlier, that morning low will be the coldest low they've had so far this year. Destiny, what's going on?
Well, we're starting to see more congestion build on our interstates this morning and more crashes just across the Charlotte area. Again, we had a crash on I-85 northbound that has since cleared, but we're still seeing that backup this morning if you're coming into the Charlotte area. I want to zoom in, though, on I-45 out near Pineville. That's where we have our newest crash this morning that's definitely causing some issues. I-45 at US 521. So it's backed up all the way to I-77, exit 65 to 67. So just a heads up there if you are headed out towards Pineville this morning from South Charlotte. We also have a stalled vehicle on Tryon Street. Both directions are impacted at Billy Graham Parkway, so you can see all of this orange here. And then this is also going to affect you if you're headed onto I-77. So just a heads up there. Also still following a lingering accident in East Charlotte, Albemarle Road West at Arlington Church Road. Drive safely out there.
Thanks, Destiny. Well, get this, Ginger the Elf is back. Take a look. She wants to remind everyone you still have time. You can still donate to our magical toy drive. All you have to do is bring any new unwrapped toy to any Charlotte area Belk location between now and Sunday. And Ginger will be joining us every morning on WCNC Charlotte. She'll be working to bring holiday cheer and, of course, that mischief all the way up leading to Christmas. And check this out. We've been asking for your pictures of Ginger's friends, and here they are. Take a look. Oh, you can see it.
Oh boy, somebody's gotten onto the Christmas tree.
I know, you can see it. It's nice to see all of you all sending in your pictures. Please continue to do that. And we do know there's more friends out there, so please keep your pictures coming in. You can send them right to the number listed on your screen. We'll see all of the goofy things that Ginger likes to do. We're going to take a quick break, but we will be right back.
Good morning for your December 12th. High temperatures around 50 degrees, so another below normal one. We start off cloudy, but then those sunny rays are going to be with us before you know it. Back to 60 degrees, though, tomorrow. That's the pick of the weekend, and then temperatures tumbling throughout the day. We realistically could have a real feel around 10 to 20 degrees during your Sunday evening. That's going to bring our highs to 38 on Monday, the coldest day of the week, and over the next 10, back to either side of 60 degrees the middle to latter part of next week. Here's the big chill. The coldest that Charlotte has registered so far in 2025 is 18 degrees. We could beat that on Monday morning. That's the coldest. Back-to-back mornings, either side of 20, a little bit warmer to end the week. So thank goodness, warmer horizons on the way. Let's see what's happening for your morning commute with Destiny Richards.
Yeah, we have a lot of congestion on the interstates this morning, kind of around the map, but we want to focus in on I-485. That's where we have our most recent crash this morning. This will affect folks heading from South Charlotte, Southwest Charlotte into Pineville. I-485 outer loop at US 521, that's exit 65 there, backed up to I-77. So this will impact I-77 in the south part of Charlotte as well. Also following a stalled vehicle at Billy Graham Parkway and Tryon Street.
Well, hello, it is Friday, and we're so thankful that you're joining us live on WCNC Plus at 8. I'm Autumn Bracey, in for Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We need to get to some breaking news this morning. CMPD now identifying that woman who was found dead on Sanders Avenue as Frasia Baker. Baker is the Charlotte mother who has been missing since last week. Police found her body and a car that matched the description of her car on Sanders Avenue near Beattiesford Road yesterday. Neighbors we spoke with who believed it was her say they were shocked by the discovery.
It's the most horrific thing you could hear, as just being in the community. Not even, I'm sure the family is going, emotional in this sense, because to hear that your family member has been found in a car, that's truly sad.
Baker's cause of death is undetermined at this time. Police have yet to name a suspect.
And it's been 1 week since the latest stabbing on the light rail, and this morning there is mounting criticism from federal officials.
It comes as the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office announced the suspect in that stabbing is now facing 2 federal charges. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live this morning in NODA at that light rail station where the stabbing happened to detail the officials' call for safety. Richard.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lisa. Good morning, Autumn. Good Friday morning, folks watching us on the Plus. Basically, what those federal officials are saying is, despite all of the efforts that local officials have said they've done to make it safer to ride on the CATS light rail system, it just isn't enough. Now, as we look at video, this was all part of a news conference that those federal officials held where they talked about that stabbing that happened just last week. This man, a 33-year-old Oscar Solozado Garcia, is now facing 2 federal charges, including violence on a mass transportation system. He's accused of stabbing that passenger on that light rail. He faces the same federal charges as the Carlos Brown. That's the man accused of killing passenger Irina Zaruska in August. Brown made his first federal court appearance yesterday. Federal officials released surveillance images showing Garcia holding a knife before they say he stabbed the victim, and that he also appeared intoxicated and was causing problems on the train before the incident. Authorities also confirmed that Garcia, who is from Honduras, has been deported twice. He's now accused of illegally re-entering the U.S. And federal officials also say that if he's convicted of these crimes, he could face life behind bars or be deported. As for Brown, who we also mentioned, if he's convicted of the fatal stabbing of Irina Zaruska, he would face the possibility of death. We're right here in NODA. This is Richard Devane. We'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Richard. Just hours later, Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden responding to that announcement from federal leaders. He sent us a very lengthy statement. It says in part, quote, if deporting Solorzano twice did not work, then blame for this broken system belongs where it should with DHS, ICE, and their continued reliance on a process that has repeatedly failed, end quote.
This morning, the man stabbed on the light rail last week remains in jail with a $2 million bond. Kenny Ndobe is facing several domestic violence-related charges, including assault on a pregnant woman. He was reportedly dating that woman. Ndobe made his first court appearance yesterday. Court officials say he hit the woman, knocking her unconscious. Advocates say this case highlights a much bigger concern.
A $2 million bond on domestic violence is very rare. And I think this happened because of the notoriety of the person, because of its connection to another public incident.
Ndobe is also facing charges for threatening to kill the woman and her children. His next court appearance is scheduled for December 23rd.
As of this morning, a GoFundMe page for Ndobe's medical bills remains active. So far, more than $115,000 has been donated by more than 2,000 people.
So now that he's facing his own assault charges, some are wondering if that money can be used for bail or if people can get their money back from the GoFundMe if they'd like to. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies.
went straight to GoFundMe for answers to the top questions people may have when it comes to this. First, what are the requirements to receive the money from a fundraiser? The person receiving funds must be over 18 years of age, have a government-issued photo ID, and have a bank account. Dobie created his fundraiser himself and says money will go towards his, quote, trauma and pain after being stabbed on the Blue Line. During Dobie's court appearance for his own assault charges, his GoFundMe was the reason prosecutors asked for either a high bond or no bond at all. However, the defense argued that money is intended for medical expenses. According to GoFundMe, using the money for a different reason than what the fundraiser was set up for violates their terms of service. So Dobie can't use it for bond. If he did, it could result in the removal of the campaign, possible civil or criminal consequences, being banned from the platform, and or refunds to donors. If anyone ever has a concern with the fundraiser, they can make a request that it be looked at, and GoFundMe's trust and safety team will review it. If a donor would like to request a refund, there is a form they can fill out on GoFundMe.
That was Megan Bragg reporting. If you have something that you would like to verify, email us at verify@wcnc.com.
Time now, 8:06. Overnight, some new information from the Stanley County Sheriff's Office reveals the now former co-owner of Sycamore Brewing, Justin Brigham, was found naked near the home of the 13-year-old girl he's accused of raping.
Deputies say they received a 911 call from the girl's parents in Stanfield saying they found a man they didn't know in their daughter's bedroom. When deputies arrived, they say they found a man who was later identified as Brigham completely undressed in a nearby vehicle. They arrested him immediately. He is charged with first-degree burglary, statutory rape of a child by an adult, and indecent liberties with a child. He is in jail with a $10 million bond.
Not long after this news broke, his wife and Sycamore's co-owner posted on Instagram saying, "To our employees, customers, and partners, I am devastated by the charges against Justin and the pain that has inflicted on our family and others. Effective immediately, I am assuming full leadership of the company. Justin is divesting all of his interests and will have no further involvement." Chris, how are things looking this Friday?
Not too bad. We have a changing Friday, then we have a spectacular Saturday, and then a changing for the cold on Sunday. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get right to it. I want to show you how it looks across our beautiful area. We covered 22 counties here on WCNC+, but we'll also talk about any other big weather events. Still seeing widespread clouds across Monroe, a little bit of sunshine trying to sneak in. Some of the roads okay here in Banner Elk, some slick sidewalks overall, and then it's the entirety of Watauga, Ashe, and Avery County under a 2-hour delay for those kiddos. Meanwhile, if you look really closely, there was a little bit of melting that happened on some of these rooftops from yesterday, but staying cloudy up here as well. And we have some active snow. Yes, some snow that's coming in from the north and west. I would say it's really now until about 10 o'clock that we could have another quick burst of snow. And this is including some areas north of I-40, and then I would say even as far south as parts of, say, Iredell County over to Rowan County. We could see a brief little flurry associated with this, but mainly we're going to be around that rain criteria if it goes any further off towards the south. This is oftentimes you have a decaying system that moves through, and we're just kind of getting clipped for the time being. So here's our futurecast showing the signs of any sort of precip happening now until about 10 to 11 o'clock. By the afternoon, things start to clear out, we dry out, and then things get a whole lot better. Highs today, right around 50 degrees, starting off in the mid to the upper 30s. And again, those clouds will start to eventually break, already starting to see signs of it, allowing for a much brighter end to the day. High temperature right around 50 degrees, not too far off from where we were yesterday. 50 with a lighter wind as well. It doesn't really create a staggering wind chill, but that's going to change. Maybe you're going to McAdenville. If you're just looking from your car, don't have to worry about it because you can control your own temperature. If you're walking around McAdenville, or maybe going to the Celebration of Lights in Kannapolis, temperatures are going to be in the mid-40s, ending around 40 degrees from 6 to 10 o'clock. That's the time for both those events, technically 5:30 around McAdenville, and it's going to be a cold start to the day tomorrow. A calm wind as well is going to really intensify frost. It is going to be a frosty morning, so if you have to be somewhere, give yourself some extra time to defrost that windshield. And our weekend forecast is spectacular. 60 degrees, that's why I received my gold medal, and then the blue arrow for your Sunday. We start off Sunday around 50 degrees. By the evening, we're dropping down into the 20s. That's right. I'm going to put my weather bookmark right here. You know it's going to get cold. We're going to talk about the transition through your Sunday, how cold it will feel by the end of it, and where our temperatures go heading into the coldest morning of the season, maybe even the year, heading into Monday. But first, let's see how this Friday morning is faring traffic-wise. We got Destiny here. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we're definitely seeing some problems on I-45, especially at this time, but we have some red spots really in several areas in terms of our interstate. So I-85 northbound, again, no new crash there. There was one that cleared about 30 minutes to an hour ago, but I-45 again is where we're seeing some issues. So let's zoom in there and see what's going on. I-45 outer loop at US 521 here, exit 65, still backed up to I-77 and even beyond that at this point. So again, if you're in the Pineville area, South Charlotte, I-45 outer loop is a big issue right now. Going up to West Charlotte, we have another issue with the outer loop, and this is I-45 outer at I-85. So exit 10, traffic backed up to exit 12 at this time, but it really seems to be focused in on this on this ramp. So not really a backup on I-45 itself, but if you're trying to get onto I-45 from I-85, that's where your issues are. We'll have another check of traffic a little later in the hour.
Thanks, Destiny. Before we head to break, here's an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey, our team tests tons of products. We get rid of the rejects. We only bring you the best. And I love this one. It's called the Zippy Sweeper Pro. Take a look at it. And it's got this tri-brush technology here. It's very lightweight, cordless. So you can walk around the house. You just charge it with a USB-C, 30 minutes of use. And it can pick up almost everything. So let me turn it on for you here. Here are some Cheerios on the floor. Very common around my house. Picking them right up, no problem at all. Right? And then here's another problem we have too. Come on down here for a second. This is my dog's dog bowl, and he's a messy eater. So we always have the pet food around too. So look at that. Nice and easy. And it's really, really easy to use too. I've been playing with this for the last few days. Also picked up frozen veggies on the floor too. So it really does work. The other great thing about the Zippy Sweeper Pro, it really gets into places that you really wouldn't want to with a dust buster because it hurts your back. Look how easy this is. Right under my coffee table, and I'm barely bent down at all. Very good for people with back problems like me.
And check out the light on it, showing you exactly where to find those hidden crumbs.
Oh, and I love this. When you're done, all you have to do is pull back this gray handle. Let me tilt this up so you can see it. And it all just comes right out into the trash, no mess. We have an amazing deal on this for you today. Normally, this is $129.99. Today, exclusive for our viewers, $69.99. That is a huge 46% off the retail price. You know it's gonna go. It's while supplies last. Scan the QR code on your screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
Welcome back. Australia passed the world's first social media ban for kids under 16 years old. For parents and campaigners who've long argued that incessant scrolling is damaging, Lee Waldman explains how this is just the beginning.
We're proud of being Australian today and the leadership in government.
It's a bittersweet moment for the parents of Charlotte O'Brien, a 12-year-old whose family says she took her own life after online bullying, to see Australia's social media ban go into effect.
We're sort of glad we're here, but we're really not glad we're here at the same time.
This first-of-its-kind ban has mixed reviews. Officials are praising the law, while some teens aren't thrilled.
That's like my main source of communication or like entertainment.
The 10 banned platforms, including Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat, must suspend or delete accounts of children under 16. They'll face fines if they don't take reasonable steps to keep children off of social media.
Responded.
Here in the U.S., parents like Tamia Woods, whose son James Woods took his own life after they say he was targeted for sextortion online, are advocating for change.
I stand before you as a mother whose only child was taken by something so preventable, so cruel, and so ignored that it should shake every person in this room to their core.
While several pieces of legislation have been introduced in Congress this year to protect kids online, none have advanced to become law. Dr. Jenny Radesky, a developmental behavioral pediatrician, believes a nuanced approach should be taken.
I just want that online world to be safer and more designed more with their needs in mind, less with profits in mind.
Lee Waldman with that report. App spoofing is raising new concerns about identity theft. Experts warn criminals are finding ways to mimic legitimate apps to trick businesses and to steal personal information. Now, while the real apps themselves may not be compromised, fake versions can look convincing enough to fool employees. That's why officials say stronger security features and verification tools are needed. Consumers are also being urged to stay alert and to protect their digital identities. President Trump has banned states from regulating artificial intelligence. The president signed an executive order Thursday that aims to create a single national framework for AI.
It also blocks states from enforcing their own regulations around it, which a White House aide said could cripple the industry.
We want to have one central source of approval, and we have, I think, great Republican support. I think we probably have Democrat support too, because it's common sense. I mean, you can't go to every time you make a change, and it could be a very reasonable change. You still won't get it approved if you have to go to 50 states. So this centralizes it.
Congress killed a previous attempt by Republicans to prevent states from regulating AI earlier this summer. The Senate also voted nearly unanimously to remove a 10-year moratorium on the enforcement of state AI regulation from Trump's sweeping domestic policy bill.
When should you drip your faucets? Well, the general rule is if it's going to be 28 degrees or colder for 4 hours or more, you absolutely need to do it. Do not forget to do this if you have an older home because temperatures go from 60 to the teens from Saturday heading into Monday morning. We'll talk a little bit more about that cool down, how you're going to feel through the weekend, and when we finally rebound back to where we should be. All right, welcome back, everyone. Thanks as always for joining us on WCNC Plus. So every morning over on what we call our linear channel, aka our TV station, that is WCNC Charlotte, we will do something that's called One Thing to Know. And the one thing you need to know is that we have a big up and a big down. 50 today. 60 tomorrow, by the way, amazing. Lots of sunshine. It'll be spectacular. And then Monday, we'll have sunshine, but only 38 degrees, and we start off the morning even colder. So this Arctic blast does have us a weather impact alert for your Monday morning. And I actually want to start it as early as Sunday evening, because that's where we're going to have the coldest wind chills, it looks like. Drop down to the teens, even around the single digits for a few locations. So avoid that exposure outside. It's technically just outside the danger zone, but that's not the case for the mountains. The mountains might have a cold weather advisory, so we'll watch for that. Here's 8 a.m. on Sunday. Saturday, don't worry about it. So what I want you to do is, if you're trying to decide on what to do this weekend, maybe something outside, Saturday is going to be the day, because Saturday evening there's still so many things going on. McAdenville, Festival of Lights, Carowinds, just naming a few, Charlotte Motor Speedway, but you're in the car at that point. This is our wind chill starting off Sunday morning. Already 36 degrees to 30. I think our actual air temperatures are in the 40, feeling like 80 degrees or 8 degrees right around Jefferson. 80 would be nice, right? Well, 10 below zero will be the new wind chill by the end of the afternoon, feeling like either side at 20 degrees, because we're going to keep active winds as the front pushes through, gusting up to 25 to 30 miles per hour. This will be a very cold and blustery day. So I'm letting you know we have the sunshine. As soon as that sun sets, boy, do we really rock these colder wind chills. Feeling like 15 below zero right around Boone, single digits possible leading up to midnight, and then things get a little bit better heading into your Monday morning. At that point, I think we hit our low around 17 degrees, which would be the coldest low of the year. Stay weather alert, because we are dealing with the superlative as far as our cold temperatures go. The coldest we've been so far, by the way, this season, 28. So we're smashing that, revisiting temperatures that we had back in January. Stay warm, everybody, and stay safe for your morning commute. Let's see what's going on with Destiny.
Yeah, we have 3 active crashes on I-45 in different areas this morning. So definitely not a great situation out there if you're heading onto the loop. Our newest accident is out near Matthews this morning. So let's zoom on in and see what's happening. This is our backup from I-45 inner loop at John Street. So exit 52, it's backed up to Idlewild Road. So exit 49. Again, this could definitely impact just how you get onto the loop as well as getting off. So just be aware of those ramps that could be very backed up as well, not just the interstate itself. I-45 outer loop as well at exit 65, US 521 out near Pineville. And then an accident on the ramp in West Charlotte, I-85 outer loop at I-85. So definitely give yourself extra time and drive safely. Here's Larry.
I'm this Larry Sprinkle. It's Friday. Time to find out what is happening this weekend. A lot going on. One of the big events is the Singing Christmas Tree Saturday and again on Sunday. There it is. It's a sight to see, and the sounds are amazing. The 71st annual Singing Christmas Tree at Halton Theater at Central Piedmont Community College. It'll be Saturday, 1 p.m. and another show at 4:30, and Sunday at 4 p.m. Don't miss it. It's exceptional. A celebration of holiday entertainment featuring great Christmas music, the Miller Street Dance Academy, and the Carolina Kids Tree Choir. Information at carolinavoices.org. Don't miss it. The 71st annual Singing Christmas Tree this weekend at Halton Theater. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Thanks, Larry. Well, we only have a few days left for our magical toy drive. We want to shout out and thank all the wonderful people that have donated so far. So there's still time for you to show your support. All you have to do is bring any new unwrapped toy to any Charlotte area Belk location between now and Sunday. For more ways to donate, you can scan the QR code on your screen. We'll take a quick break, but we will be right back here on WCNC Plus.
Good to see you this morning. Check it out. We do have a little bit of snow that's flying north of this line. So if you live north of this line, that would include Taylorsville, just around the Statesville area, even down to Salisbury. You will have a chance for maybe seeing a brief flurry, or maybe that translating to a quick sputter of sleet or a little bit of a sprinkle, but not much with this. Over the last few days, temperatures have been all over the place. We were 41, 57, 51. Today's pretty close to what we had yesterday, but then going forward, wow. 60, and then we head the wrong direction to 48 to 38 degrees. I want to focus in on your Sunday. Sunday's going to be a really interesting one that we're changing things throughout the day. Starting off in the 40s, that means our high temperatures hit around midnight, and then by the afternoon, we feel like it's more like 40 to 20. By your Sunday evening, we're going to have wind chills as cold as 20 to even 10 degrees. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has us weather impact alert for the coldest air they've had so far this season, potentially of the year. Stay warm, everybody. Destiny, take it away.
Yeah, right now we have some active crashes on I-485, inner loop and outer loop. Right now, the most recent one is in Matthews, I-45 inner at John Street. We also have an accident near Pineville, I-45 outer at US 521. Thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 8:30 on this Friday. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Autumn Bracey in for Ben Thompson.
Chief Estella Patterson has been at the helm of CMPD for less than 2 weeks, and she is setting her priorities straight. The chief sat down with WCNC Charlotte's Colin Mayfield to talk about the action she is teeing up during her first tenure.
I know that the trust of the public is super important, and we always want to maintain that trust.
Chief Estella Patterson has more than 25 years of law enforcement experience. She spent more than 2 decades with CMPD before becoming Raleigh's police chief. Now she's back and making sure her presence is felt.
I want our officers to be visible out front and people see that. So, of course, we're doing our special operation that we're doing around the Christmas season, and that's going to continue. We already have some operations that we do with our Crown initiative in the Uptown area, as well as our Entertainment District Unit.
Chief Patterson says she's been decidedly proactive, creating things like the Christmas Task Force. She wants to enlarge many of these units that are tracking violent criminals and taking them off our streets, giving more resources to places like the Crime Reduction Unit.
And as we staff up our department, we'll continue to do that and enlarge those units, because it is very important to me that members of the community see our officers and that they see them out and about.
Understanding the grueling nature of police work, Patterson went on to explain that both the physical and mental well-being of her department is of the utmost importance.
It is important to me that our employees are heard and that they're seen and that they know that I will be out there with them doing whatever it is. I've always been the kind of leader who leads from the front. To introduce more technology, want to be able to work smarter, and bringing in technology that enables to have more eyes and ears to mitigate crime.
I asked Chief Patterson about the recent immigration operations and CMPD's role in this when it comes to criticism of local law enforcement. She says it's pretty simple.
For us, we don't enforce immigration laws. That is not our duty. That is not our mission. And we want our residents to know that live in this community.
Chief Patterson told me they would collaborate with federal partners and already have, taking violent criminals off the streets if and when they ask. She says that CMPD will continue to work closely with those federal partners, which is part of her commitment to keeping the city and its residents safe.
I'm committed to making sure that our officers are doing the work that we have signed up to do and that we hold them accountable. I know oftentimes people feel that the police do things that are questionable. Well, I'm the kind of chief that I'm going to hold my employees accountable.
That was Colin Mayfield reporting. If you'd like to watch that entire interview with Chief Patterson, you can find it here on WCNC+. DeCarlos Brown, the man accused of killing Irina Zarutska on the light rail in August, made his first appearance in federal court. He's charged with committing an act of violence on a mass transportation system, resulting in death.
Since we announced those charges here, Mr. Barnacle and I have met in person with Irina Zarutska's family. They are heartbroken. Our hearts go out to them. We think about them every day. We are committed to justice for her and for her family. And my team and I will not stop until we get justice for her and her family.
U.S. Attorney Russ Ferguson says Brown is now in federal custody.
A Lancaster man is in police custody this morning after leading officers on a chase. Lancaster police tell us 42-year-old Bobby Bollock was driving a vehicle that had been reported as stolen. When police went to stop him yesterday, Bollock ran from the car into woods nearby. Once a deputy caught up with that suspect, there was some sort of a struggle. That's when Bollock grabbed the deputy's gun. The deputy then proceeded to fire a shot at the suspect, injuring him. Bollock was not seriously injured, but was taken to a hospital to be treated. He will soon be transported to the Lancaster County Detention Center, where charges are expected to be filed. This morning, we are learning the family of a 16-year-old student who died in a stabbing at a Winston-Salem high school earlier this week is seeking legal action. All of this comes after the district attorney announced it would not file charges in the incident. The DA says it's in part because there's an element of self-defense by the older student involved in the fight. Investigators tell us Tuesday, 16-year-old Cameron Graham and his 18-year-old friend fought over a THC vape pen. Graham pulled out a knife, and during that struggle, he was stabbed in the chest. The Forsyth County District Attorney says the two students were friends, and there's no reason to believe Graham's death was intentional.
The 18-year-old was interviewed by law enforcement while he was recovering from his own injuries. And I can tell you, he cried and cried when he learned that his friend was dead.
Winston-Salem Forsyth County School says after this incident, metal detectors are now going to be active daily in all schools in the district.
14 months after the legal fight began, NASCAR, Michael Jordan's 23XI Racing, and Front Row Motorsports have officially reached a settlement. The case centered on charter negotiations, with the teams accusing NASCAR of operating as a monopoly. Associated Press reporter Jenna Fryer, who has covered this trial from the start, joined us here on WCNC Plus to discuss what this settlement means for the sport moving forward.
We don't know yet the other terms that were agreed to in the settlement, but I believe that they're going to, that all teams, that even the ones who didn't sue, are going to receive a larger revenue stream, piece of the revenue stream, and they're going to work together to build a healthier, stronger sport. And Michael Jordan said from the very beginning that he wasn't doing this for just 23XI and Front Row Motorsports. He was doing this for all the teams, and ultimately what he achieved is going to be a victory for the 36 chartered teams in NASCAR.
A Salisbury man remains in jail this morning, accused of threatening President Trump. U.S. Attorney Dan Bishop says the FBI arrested Christian Daniels Thursday. He says Daniels made threats online against the president last month. If convicted on all counts, Daniels faces a maximum of 15 years in prison. He will be back in court next week.
Attorney General Jeff Jackson says North Carolina has won a $200 million lawsuit against FEMA. It comes after a federal court ordered the agency to reinstate the brick disaster mitigation program. Jackson releasing a statement saying in part, this ruling puts the money back where it was promised so these communities can be ready for their next storm. Jackson had sued in July after FEMA abruptly canceled the program earlier this year. At 8:37, we're checking back in with Chris. How are things looking?
Well, still on that 2-hour delay up in the mountains. So that's Watauga, Ashe, and Avery County. The rest of us, school as usual. Many of the kids probably already at the bus stop or heading to school right now. Banner Elk looks like a broken regular Nintendo. Let's move on here. And then we have a line that is cutting across the northern part of our viewing area. That's where we have a chance for snow flurries. That's right, snow flurries. It's a little burst of snow that is now starting to die out. So it's really the northern part of our viewing area. The furthest south point, I think, is going to be Rowan County, right around, say, China Grove, Salisbury. You could see a little flurry action, and we are seeing a chance even for a quick little burst of snow, and that is just north of Alexander County. Eagle Mills potentially could see this as well. This is kind of the last hurrah. We'll see this over the next couple of hours. As you can see here for our future cast, by about 11 o'clock, we are good to go. Pushing on out, and then we're also going to see a lot more sunshine heading in the afternoon because of this. And then by the weekend, we have a slight chance for a little bit of snow yet again up in the high country heading into your Sunday morning. So today, we start off cloudy. Temperatures get back to around 50 degrees. Not a bad day, not as pretty as yesterday. Wind's not overly harsh, but you can really see the difference up to 10 o'clock staying cloudy and then more sunshine a little bit later on. Weekend forecast, one gets the gold medal, the other one just gets a big old arrow. We have 60 degrees on Saturday. I've been saying all week long here on WCNC Plus, that's my pick of the week. We haven't wavered on that 60-degree point. That's what we're going to hit. Starting off around freezing, though, so it will be a cold start to the day. And it's very mild to begin the day on Sunday. We're picking up a few more clouds as well. But what's interesting is when we hit our high temperature. I think our high temperature is going to be close to 50 degrees, but that's at midnight. And our technical low for the day isn't hit until the following midnight heading into Monday. So let me explain. We are weather impact alert because Monday morning we could potentially have the actual air temperatures go down into the teens. And I really want to extend this Sunday evening heading through Monday morning because I think it's right around midnight that we have some of our coldest wind chills that are associated with this. So you just need to avoid long exposure, especially up in the mountains, because this is going to be the coldest low that we've had in Charlotte so far in 2025. We dropped down to 18 degrees back on January 22nd, 19 on the 23rd, so pretty close to where we were back in January. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit more about the wind chills and when we are back into the 60s outside of what we have coming up this Saturday. That's your weather report. Now let's see how traffic's rolling. Destiny, oh no, it hasn't been too bad of a morning for you.
It hasn't. I would say the traffic, though, is localized to I-45 at this time. Nothing huge, but it's definitely causing trouble for people who typically take the loop to wherever they have to go this time of the morning. I will say, though, right now, things are improving, but those backups are still there. Right now, near Matthews, we have I-485 inner loop at John Street backed up to Idlewild Road, but I would say it hasn't really, it started to lessen that impact has. So not quite backed up to Idlewild right now, but I would say it is going to affect some people heading into, I would say, heading east or west, sorry. Brain and directions. Heading westbound on I-485 inner loop at this time. Going to the other side, I-45 outer at US 521, exit 65. That backup is still there, but as you can see, it's not quite stretched all the way out to I-77 at this time. So things are getting better with that one too. And then this accident on the ramp is localized still to the ramp I-45 outer loop there. We also have a new accident, John Belk Freeway at I-77. So that is fairly new, but as we know, I-77 out near Uptown can be an issue this time of the morning as well. So drive safely.
Destiny, thank you. Holiday parties promise cheer, but for some, they bring a wave of anxiety. We'll tell you how to manage those feelings.
It was a holiday celebration at the nation's capital as President Trump welcomed lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to the congressional ball. The president and first lady were upbeat about the future as they welcomed many to the annual White House party, setting political differences aside, at least for one night.
What we're really here to celebrate is Christmas. I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. Whatever it may be, it's going to be happy, and we're going to have a fantastic year.
Melania Trump commented on her success with the Take It Down Act, an initiative aimed at combating online exploitation. This will go into effect in May of next year. She also announced she has a new legislative initiative she's launching next year, which is for now under wraps. Well, it's time for your morning boost this Friday. The holiday season in full swing, and a beloved holiday tradition returned to Raleigh last night.
Take a look at this. Crowds gathering at the state capitol for the annual Christmas tree lighting. The governor and state leaders doing the honor, lighting that towering Fraser fir, a real North Carolina tree.
We have a proud legacy of growing Christmas trees in North Carolina. In fact, more than 1 out of every 4 Christmas trees across this country grew in the soil of North Carolina. Wow. We are the top 2 state for growing Christmas trees, and that's why I'm so happy to be able to spotlight North Carolina's growers.
The night featured performances from the Raleigh Concert Band, tours of the Capitol grounds, and a special appearance from Santa.
Well, a reminder, holiday parties can be fun for some, but stressful for others. Many people feeling anxious about big gatherings, especially during the holiday season when expectations run high. Experts tell us it's okay to set boundaries, whether that means staying for a short time or skipping the event altogether. There's some simple strategies you can keep in mind, like dressing comfortably, planning a few talking points, or arriving early to help you calm your nerves. Remember, it is normal to feel anxious and still show up. Sometimes just being there is an accomplishment. The key is always finding what makes you feel most at ease during these festivities.
Interesting. All right, a deer rescue inside a store in New Jersey. We'll hear from the brave woman who guided the animal out. That's next.
Well, it's a good day if you are a Carolina Panthers fan.
It certainly is. The team waking up in first place in the NFC South. That's after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost last night. Now the Bucs dropping their 5th game in 6 weeks to the Atlanta Falcons. Can you believe that? And it was a last-second field goal. The Falcons tight end hauling in 3 touchdowns to lead the offense. Next up for Bryce Young and the Panthers is a road rematch with the New Orleans Saints. That's Sunday at 4:30. The Panthers will be looking for revenge after they lost to the Saints back in Week 10 here at home. So
exciting.
I can't wait to hear from you because you've been talking about this all season. Things are lining up pretty good for the Panthers.
Yeah, somebody brought up the conspiracy theory that was involving J-Lo, Ohio State, in previous years of losses. But yeah, no, the way things are going right now, the Panthers, that was almost a playoff game that would happen last night.
Okay.
So now, Bucs, 7-7. The Panthers technically have a half-game lead. If we win this week, we have a 1-game lead. And if we win next week, it's over. We have now clinched a playoff spot and home field advantage for the first game.
Oh, that's really good. So Panthers are what, 7-6?
7-6.
Okay.
Bucks played last night for Thursday Night Football. So this is an amazing situation that literally the Panthers can make the playoffs. Now, the division's not really good. They're not one of the best teams. We can be honest about that. But they have a solid chance. They control their own destiny. That's the coolest
We
thing.
believe in
We're
them, though.
focusing on the positive here. Focusing on the positive.
And hey, if the team that beat the Rams shows up, they can actually go far in the playoffs.
Those are the Panthers we need to see on Sunday.
All right. Let's go, Panthers.
What was that?
That was my Panther noise that actually sounded more like a warthog.
Is that how they sound?
Right?
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Somebody record that. That's their new sound.
That was pretty close. It sounds just like the real one that sometimes we play above our heads. All right, get me out of here. All right, so we're going to talk about our weekend forecast. No Panthers games here at home, but I am going to actually show you a 10-10-10 forecast. We've already talked about how cold it's going to be. Starting from midnight to midnight on Sunday, we're getting steadily cooler, especially Sunday evening, dropping some of our real feels really down into the teens. We're going to be feeling frighteningly cold. And here, I'll review that information one more time because it's really important about how we're changing throughout the day. Starting off in the 40s with real feel anywhere from the mid 40s to the mid 30s. The afternoon, temperatures really drop by the back end that realistically by 6 p.m. we could have a wind chill around 20 and our actual temperature at freezing. And if you have any plans during the evening, it is not a good walk around. Wind chills at 10 to 20 degrees, so stay warm. So let's look at the extended forecast that eventually is going to lead to the Panthers being in town. It's actually the last icon that we have on this graphic. Well, we are weather impact alert just because of how cold it is going to be. That realistically, we haven't been this cold since January 22nd. This will be a brief cool down though, only a high of 38 degrees, and then we're back to right around 60 degrees for Wednesday and Thursday. Now we bring in the Panthers. The Panthers are officially back in town versus the Bucs on December 21st, which by the way is the first day of winter. The first day of winter, 64 degrees. So it looks like we're going to be warmer heading into Christmas compared to what we started off the month of December, and certainly compared to what we're going to have on December 15th. There it is, a lot of ups and downs going forward. Hopefully it's all smooth sailing now as we're getting past that peak commute with Destiny Richards.
Yeah, things are definitely improving across the map this morning, so that is definitely some good news. So looking at our traffic flow, I-45, we were seeing a lot of red, but now we're seeing, just orange and just little bitty spots of traffic backups right now. So let's zoom in. We still have them on the map though, so it could still cause some issues for people. I-45 Interloop at John Street this morning. That was our really serious one. I-45 Outer Loop, the shoulder is blocked, so this is an update here. The traffic jam is still there, but the accident has moved to the shoulder. And then this one is still on the map. Accident on the ramp, you can see that one is still red. I-45 Outer Loop at I-85.
Thanks, Destiny. Well, Ginger the Elf is back, and take a look. She wants to remind everyone you can still donate to WCNC's Magical Toy Drive. All you have to do is bring any new unwrapped toy to any Charlotte area Buck location between now and Sunday. Ginger will be joining us every morning here on WCNC Charlotte. We're going to bring holiday cheer and mischief all the way up as we are inching closer to Christmas. And check this out. We have been asking all of you for pictures of Ginger's friends, and here they are. Take a look at that. Nice to see some of you all tuning in this morning. A special shout out. And we know that Ginger has some more friends out there, so please keep the pictures coming in to WCNC. You can send them right to the number listed on your screen, and we'll be able to see all the goofy things that they like to do. Well, holiday shopping took a wild turn after Santa appeared to lose one of his reindeer who went running through a store at the Jersey Shore.
Check this out. Shoppers scrambled to get out of its way, but one woman didn't think twice about going after the frightened deer. Ted Greenberg spoke to that brave woman in Jersey.
I jumped into action and didn't think twice.
Krista Day's wild encounter began when a deer crashed into her cart while she and best friend Caitlin Kime were Christmas shopping inside this Marshall store in Brick Township.
And once it started flailing and stuff, I started following it all the way through the store.
Watch out, everybody! Move out of the way!
This video given to Krista and Caitlin by another customer captured the commotion on Friday. The store full of shoppers at the time, including, Krista says, a baby in a stroller, a pregnant woman, and elderly people.
I was more worried about them than my own safety.
She just immediately sprung into action. I don't even think she thought about what was going on.
And I told everyone, please stay calm, stay where you're at. I was trying to prevent it from jumping high so it didn't jump over anything.
Krista managed to corner the deer, wrangle it, and then safely guided the animal out the front door.
How did you know how to wrangle a wild animal like that?
I don't know, it was just first instinct, jump right into action, help out.
Krista and Caitlin say the deer ran off with what appeared to be some minor cuts on its legs. After this holiday shopping chaos they never saw coming.
We're very thankful my friend was able to do it all. She saved the day. She saved the day.
Wow, Ted Greenberg with that report there. Well, we're going to take a quick break and make sure that you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Coming up at the top of the hour, our Julie Kay. You see her there at the bottom left of your screen, and she's going to take over from our live Impact studio. That's coming up next here on WCNC Plus.
Hope you're already having a fantastic Friday. Some of us could be seeing some snowflakes fly. Not really any big problems with these, mainly north of Highway 64 through Alexander, Iredell, and parts of Rowan County. That's only over the next hour or so. Starting off cloudy to begin the day, highs reaching about 50 degrees with a lot more sunshine to conclude the day, and then we head into a spectacular weekend. Tomorrow is the best part. Sunshine all day long, highs right around 60 degrees, and then Sunday from start to finish, it is heading the wrong direction. We are realistically feeling more like 40 to 20 degrees during the afternoon, 20 to 10 degrees with wind chills around that range through the evening. That's why we're weather impact alert heading into Monday. Coldest air of the season and even the year. Much warmer after that, though. That is your weather report. Now let's see how traffic's faring with Destiny Richards.
Yeah, we had a couple issues on I-485, but things are starting to clear. One of those is an accident out near Matthews on I-485. cleared this morning. Here's what's still on the map though. Out near West Charlotte, I-45 outer loop at I-85. That accident on the ramp still causing issues. I-45 outer out near Pineville, the shoulder is blocked, but the backup is still there. Drive safely and have a great Friday and weekend.